Welcome back. You are watching News Center. US-based clean energy company Vontier is focusing on providing clean mobility and easy electric vehicle charging solutions to the world. Speaking to my colleague Ashwit Kumar, Vontier's president and CEO Mark Morelli talked about the need to accelerate energy transition and what his company is doing for an affordable and sustainable energy transition.
India is an important contributor to our overall growth. We're a global industrial technology company called Vontier, focused on productivity, automation for a multi-fuel future. And so what we offer in India is pretty typical that we offer to a lot of governments, a lot of countries, a lot of companies that are trying to prosecute the energy transition. And when we talk about the energy transition, it's about, of course, achieving sustainability as well as affordability and security. And this is an important part of our offerings.
I'm just taking cue from one of the answers that you gave, which is the three vectors that you had defined as far as energy transition is concerned. One of them you mentioned was sustainability. I bring that up in context of COP28, the ongoing summit in Dubai. We're seeing very engaging, interesting conversations on the way forward. One of the aspects where there's a lot of negotiations, the draft we understand has come out only a few hours back, is on phasing out of fossil fuels. We're getting divergent views from different stakeholders, as was expected. Just your take on it. How do we make this transition? How do we phase it out? Is that a viable strategy going forward?
Yeah, the energy transition absolutely is about a balance. It's called the energy trilemma. And of course, everybody's very interested in sustainability. Look at these goals that the Indian government has: energy independence by 2047, net zero by 2070. Sure. You know, it's a topic on everybody's mind, is how do we achieve the climate change goals and how do folks address the sustainability issues. But it's not just sustainability, it's also about affordability of energy, and it's also about energy security. And so to balance all three of these, it makes a lot of sense to think of this in terms of a multi-fuel future. It's about how, in certain areas, does petrol advance, but do it in a more sustainable way with technologies around vapor recovery, which is a technology being rolled out clearly in India and an important part of better sustainability. Leak detection, same type thing. But also biofuels. Biofuels play a big part of this. The blending of ethanol, that's a big initiative in India. Makes a lot of sense to achieve climate change goals there. But the multi-fuel future also means that compressed natural gas, renewable natural gas plays a role, and hydrogen, of course, and electrification. All of that plays a role, and I think what you're talking about is that balanced approach going forward where people make this trade-off. Makes a lot of sense.
What is the way forward from here? Because while the first part of the puzzle has been solved in terms of how to electrify vehicles, I think we're safely crossed the benchmark there. The charging infrastructure, however, is a different ballgame altogether. There's a big question mark there. How do we get around this issue? Because this is a pain point that various countries have identified.
Yeah, no, I think it's an excellent question. In fact, when we look at the world landscape and where are the different technologies that make sense, you know, we are a leader in providing the network software for high-speed electric charging in the Nordics. And the reason why we think this is really relevant is that it has one of the highest what's called car parks, or the existing amount of electric vehicles on the road. And nearly all new passenger vehicles and SUVs sold are electric vehicles. And so with us being a leader in providing that network software that's part of the fabric of everyday lives for folks, we have excellent experiences on creating high reliability for uptime for the charging experience, as well as having a good consumer interface that's easy for folks to interface with. And you see that those lessons are very applicable to other areas of the world where they're looking to electrify and they're trying to get through some of those range anxiety issues about charging, and then infrastructure needs to be built out. You need to have strong networks that be able to manage that, and we provide the tools to be able to do that. So it's a real issue. The range anxiety is a big issue that needs to be addressed, and we're trying to advance the technologies to do exactly that.
When we're looking forward, from a policy perspective, from a government standpoint, from a legislative perspective, we've often seen that the industry has needed a push, a policy push or a legislative push to make that energy transition. How do we go about doing this transition? Do we need a prescriptive approach where it's coded down perhaps as a part of a policy document, an advisory or a guideline? Or do we trust the industry to do it on a self-regulatory basis? How do we go about pushing for this energy transition?
So first of all, I think the industry, and we're having conversations here with many of our customers, they're very much getting behind this energy transition. I think when they see the technology and capabilities that are there, there's no question there's a real will to be able to advance this. But at the same time, the most advancements that have been made is because governments have facilitated this energy transition with the right incentives, the right legislation to help get behind it, because these are massive changes. And the demands that India has, a very incredible economy that's growing on the world stage, and everybody wants to be part of that exciting growth. But at the same time, those energy demands are very significant. So having the government play a role here makes a lot of sense.
CNBC TV